Hey guys, welcome to another commentary done by Diggity. We're currently tied one apiece in the second round of the Swiss bracket. Dentarg is going up against Wizard. Wizard starting the upper right hand corner as the purple Zerg, bottom right hand corner. We got Dentarg sticking as the very, I don't want to call it stylish, what do I want to call this? There's like some, I don't know, art or high art or architectural whatever, but I know of brutalism. It's kind of, and I want industrial, that's the word I'm looking for. It looks industrial. Here. Did my stream just restart? Looking in the background, then it looked like it gave the... Either that or it gave a very late, like, hey, cue thing. Anyway, I digress. Overlord making its way... I think the recording's working just fine. Dentarg's making his way bottom right corner. Wizard's making his way bottom right corner with the Overlord. Need to regather myself after spending so much brain power trying to figure out industrial. Pylon plopping. I liked the one base play adjustment from Dentarg. I think a lot of Protoss are kind of underutilizing a lot of one base play to mix things up, especially at below S rank. Like once you start getting to S rank, the guys there are just stupendous and have got it all figured out. But I do feel like below that, you're still dealing with people that haven't sat down and schemed everything out because StarCraft isn't their lives, right? And as a result, I think you can get away with more stuff like this. 2-gate. Looks like we got another 2-gate here from Dentarg. Once again against Overpool. And I do think in this current era, honestly, the 2-gate works pretty well with what Zerg have just kind of automatically been fielding as far as just going Overpool into expansion and not really thinking much about macroing up past that. It's just like, just macro. Only macro. It reminds me of that dog meme where it's holding the ball. It's like, no defend, only macro. Anyway, Dentarg has found the first base. He was thinking about going for the mineral field. Maybe he was thinking that would make it look like he was being overly ambitious and aggressive. We do see 4 Zerglings to start right here. Drone taking some free damage. The Zergling's just now spawning, so he is going to be able to see them alongside. And he's playing this, so with the probe kind of staying at a distant point, there's a slight mind game here. He's hiding it as though like, oh yes, I am clearly just playing this as the Forge First Opener, although the Overlord now has spotted the 2 gateways, by the way. It has been revealed. It is known. It is known. The drone drawing back towards the main at this stage. 2 Zealots making their way across. This Zealot gonna hold at home base. Probe's still alive. Has only lost 10 shield. Did a nice end, that was a nice bait around. And this is gonna force some more Zerglings out of Wizard. The 3rd hatchery dropping at the near side as a bit of a blockade. And the Zealots, looks like they're holding mid-map right this second. Maybe to gather up, maybe to check in. Not sure the purpose of that delay. It could have just been an odd rally point. In the meantime, the probe has been wiped out in the forward field. I think 2-gate is actually even stronger on this map, because if the Zealots do fold back, they can start holding this ramp and have fewer possibilities to get surrounded and swarmed. This is 6 Zerglings versus 2 Zealots. It's now 3 Zealots versus, well, it's kind of odd because it's 2 angles. You got a full control group there. Yeah, if they can get back to that bridge line, they can manage it. Looks like instead they're going to run up maybe to this mineral pocket. Try to fight here. One of them sneaking in there, and it looks like 4 of them have taken the bait that direction. So they're going to die one at a time. These Zealots drawing the rest of the Zerglings. Is there another corner up here? No, I don't think there's another corner. That Zealot's still alive, by the way. Got all 4 kills. But the rest of the Zealots did not get the best trade. More Zerglings, and this is a lot of Zealots, or a lot of Zerglings being built. This is the hard part for Zerg versus one bases, is knowing how much to build and how much not to build. And we are, let's see if it's 2-gate robotics once again, or if we're going to see a Stargate. Trying to see what, let's see what gets dropped. Looks like it's robotics once again. 3 Zealots holding line, all the Zerglings making their way across. We do have 3 hatcheries up, which provides more larvae, but we're still just sitting at about 12 drones. Tech layer about halfway finished. And we do have the Dragoons on the low ground. This time Wizard not sacrificing those Zerglings. It could be that this is a different scenario where he's not supply blocked because the Dragoon's able to take out the near side Overlords. The Zerglings holding the low ground. I don't know if Dentarg's going to dare He's in the dark, so I don't know that he really dares to move his way across and potentially attack these overlords, but you can see Wizard this time actually keeping the Zerglings nearby just in case. So let's see if the build works with a Zerg that is a little bit, well, knows what's going on in the background, is potentially more prepared. Now we're getting that creep colony more defensively at the natural. We also have the Spire on the way. With the Spire in the mix, that's going to make it a lot harder for Dentarg to pull this off. Considerably harder. And I also like the positioning of this where it's kind of ramps, near ramp side, also kind of protects the mineral. Good positioning here from Wizard. Robotics is going to be in place, but the problem for Dentarg now off one base against the Spire and the not halted economy, although Wizard has supply blocked himself for a second right here, is, so the Spire's going to be halfway finished. That robotics is, I think he's going to have the Reaver out. Looking, this is just rough commentator brain right now. I think the Spire's going to be finished as the Reaver and Shuttle are making their way across. Is I think the way the timing of all this ends up working. So the Shuttle will be there. I think the Reaver might be scooped up even. And Mutalisks are going to be building in flight, which just means the Mutas need to find the Reaver and pick them off. I don't know that there's going to be sufficient enough Dragoons to deal with the Mutalisks. And Wizard, essentially, if he just gets enough Mutalisks out, should win the game. Because he should be able to overpower the Dragoon force, because how many Dragoons we got? We got 6 Dragoons. If he just goes up to full control group, that plus the Zerglings, he should be able to overwhelm his opponent. At the very least, he's going to be able to shut down that natural expansion, shut down that Shuttle, shut down that Reaver. Let's see if my... So there the Reaver's just about finished. Here the yeah, and here the Mutalisk about... Well, I was a bit off. So it looks like the Mutalisk will be in the... I didn't think the Mutalisk would be in the air by the time the Reaver was scooped up in the Shuttle. So, and it looks like that is in fact going to be the case. Point being, the Shuttle and the Reaver are not going to have free reign to make their way across the map. Zerglings scooping their way around. Dentarg making his way out is providing a bit of a distraction. And we got 3 Mutalisks, I think, recognizing the build order. They're, ooh, okay, so they see the Shuttle. And that's all it's going to take. But now the counter question here is is the Reaver even going to make it? If the Reaver just drops, that's going to be extra. Yeah, okay, so the Reaver makes it here. That's going to be some damage at the natural expansion. Dentarg might still be able to just pound through all of this. Second Sunken Colony has been dropped. And Dragoon's trying to do what they can. The Zergling, this is close reinforcement point, Mutalisk plus Zergling. And whenever you have a unit that attacks both ground and air and is having to deal with both simultaneously, it kind of does a taxation on their AI a bit. Wizard wisely backing off. He's still got a good amount of Mutalisks. Dentarg, oh, he's moving the Mutalisk forward, so bravely thinking he can, I guess, potentially he can defend with just Zerglings. In the space of this, he's going to be able to move forward, pick off that, deny the natural expansion. Should be able to kill these 2 Dragoons, but I think he's going to end up losing some Mutalisks in the space of it. Those Dragoons have been pushed off. But let's see if Wizard continues. So it didn't... Okay, I thought he was going to lose at least 2 there. Ended up... I think they're... Were they focus firing the same Mutalisk? So they got 1 Mutalisk. They did not... They barely didn't get the second. It looks like. Anyway, additional Mutalisks grouping up. Some Zerglings have made it all the way across the field. They're going to get cleaned up. This has turned into a really wild, scrappy one. Wizard now running on the map was trying to find the Dragoons that have now retreated back to the main. 3 gateways up. Forge, do we have a Reaver being... No additional Reaver being constructed. And range just now finishing for the Dragoons as well. I didn't even realize that range wasn't in place. Wizard piling in with the Zerglings. Canceled natural expansion. Wizard holds the low ground. 8 Mutalisks versus 7, plus some Zerglings on the low ground. With another, and it looks like another base being grabbed top left as icing on the cake. Another handful of Mutalisks, and this is game. And honestly, these Dragoons, as it stands, are going to have great difficulty dealing with the Mutalisks, on basically getting in position to help deal with them. Photon cannons warping in. It looks like this Stargate very, very late. Cannon dropped too late. Worker's going to die back here, and these Dragoons are now boxed out. So you can just, yeah, the focus fire ends up happening. Zerglings running up the ramp in the space of this. And again, it's going to be the high ground, low ground attack aspect. Dentarg is equalized worker count. versus Wizard right this second, and that is usually death knell for Protoss, particularly at this stage of the game. More Mutalisks regrouping. Wizard effectively has a stronger economy right this second, and is starting to field stronger units overall. Doesn't have to worry about low ground to high ground. Also, these Dragoons are not focus firing the similar. They're spread firing the Mutalisks, so they're not getting full effect either. Pylon's gonna get wiped out. Zealots can get bullied. They're at least buying time for Dentarg, but this is a very, very losing effort at this stage since it's game 3 of the Swiss. See if they continue to fight it out. Yeah, Zealots at least buying time to get some additional units out. Everything's huddling around. Some Corsairs are being constructed. I don't know that that's going to provide all that help. At some point, okay, we do have some drones that look like they're rallying to upper left. Eventually, Wizard's economy is just going to sail, is what it comes down to, because this is what, 2 base Zerg usually is in a pretty good position against 1 base Protoss. Just on unit construction and whatnot. Eventually, when Protoss gets teched up, that can shift a little bit, as is noted from like 2 base Protoss versus 3 base Zerg. But 3 base Zerg versus 1 base Protoss, especially with more workers, Zerg is great. They're doing great. And we also have a Hydro's Den and Lurkers being constructed. Kind of an odd choice, I'm going to have to admit. Is this going to flip into a attempted Lurker contain for the long haul? I'm a little bit surprised just because we already know robotics is out there. We know robotics is on the field, so it's not that much to get an observatory down. So it looks like Wizard is opting. I think he recognizes he's in a superior position. Well, I was about to say he recognizes he's in a superior position. I can just sit back and macro up and maintain that macro lead. In fact, let's see if he takes that main in the space of this. Those Corsair are going to get... Oh, that was unfortunate. Corsair do not... or Scourge do not respect splitting targets, and they will take all 6 to explode on 1, and I do believe that's what happened there. So it was a bit of miss micro there from Wizard, because he could have gotten 2 more... He dove, he got the single Corsair, but the other 4 Scourge... I'm saying Corsair and Scourge in the wrong thing. He had 6 Scourge, 2 Scourge, kill a Corsair. He dove all 6 Scourge on a single Corsair, which caused them all to explode on a single Corsair. You could have gotten all of them right there. But he's still in a great position. These Corsair might be able to fan out and find out how kind of not great the scenario is. The Nexus is still not up. Yet probes are moving. That's surprising. Maybe to get past the cannon? Maybe to preserve some resources? We have some odd distance mining, which is going to slow Dentarg's economy down even further. More Mutalisks and Hydralisks being constructed. Hydralisk speed now being invested in. I actually would have preferred to see this before any of the Lurker investments. Still no observatory, by the way. So there is still possibility for that to be pretty powerful. Dentarg moving out with a very, very thin attack force. And that is going to get spotted by the Zerglings midfield. I do like Wizard leaving those Zerglings as a scouting force, and Dentarg, where he might have been thinking about sneaking something out here and getting something done, just going to have to draw back. Another hatchery being dropped top left. That's going to bring, and we got Lurkers crawling all over the place. That's going to bring the total count up to 5. So we're hitting what is typically the mid-game for Zerg, around the 13-minute mark because of all the chaos. And we're hitting the opening stages for Dentarg around the 13-minute mark, so it just kind of puts things in perspective. +1 weapons is going to complete, so that's something for Dentarg. Lurkers are hiding, just burrowed here. Okay, is he going to get it this time? That's the next question. Scourge are going to push this back. Oh, come on! Dragoons get there and defend. Scourge are always such a tease, and some Mutalisks gonna get pushed back. I do believe the 3 Corsairs can engage those 3 Mutalisks. They'll take damage, but it's not... Looks like they don't want to risk the Scourge. Overlord speed now in place. Let's see if those Lurkers start sneaking forward. A dive. Did it manage to get there? No, it doesn't look like it had accomplished a lot, and the Corsair is going to be able to hunt down the Mutalisks as a result. Natural expansion now up for Dentarg, but we're now saturated across 3 bases. And we got 6 hatcheries, and yeah, Wizard has a supply lead. He can go ahead, honestly, and press forward. If he gets Lurkers up to these bridge lines, it is going to be very, very difficult for Dentarg to accomplish anything. And we do have an observatory up at the very least, but even with the observatory, just the range problems just create a massive headaches. And with Mutalisk support, forget about it. Forget about it. But let's see if Wizard actually does the inverse problem, because if he charges across this ramp line, that could be devastating for him. We do have a Lurker just kind of planted. Where's the observer? So we got the observatory, we got the robotics. Where's the observer? Is it not queued up yet? A Reaver was queued up instead. All right. I guess he didn't know that lurkers were planted as of yet. So it looks like it's going to stage up to the north. And we do have the lurkers. It's about to say I would have preferred the lurkers, but the lurkers have managed to sit back at that line right there. So 3 bases denied. Natural expansion getting grabbed upper left here from Wizard. He's in a extremely strong situation. Is supply captaining himself briefly here. Corsair making their way out with Shuttle Reaver, so we're trying this again. Gonna lose. That actually, wow, in an instant evened up the worker count. So Corsair Reaver, but 4 bases to try to cover. Mutalisks trying to strike between point A and point B. And Dentarg going ahead and drawing that back. That's kind of crazy that he was able to even up the worker count. This is still 3 base and soon to be 4 base versus a very late 2nd base. But Dentarg's making things happen, which is shocking to me. This is absolutely Wizard's game to lose. Observer gets picked off. Lurker dies on the last shot. So Wizard gonna have to back up. And all of a sudden, okay, yeah, these lurkers streaming down. That's important. They need to get in position to deny this 3rd base, because if Dentarg gets this 3rd base up, all of a sudden this is a little bit of a scary situation. He's definitely behind still. Dragoon's backing off, taking a lot of fire. Mutalis's gonna go ahead and join. We have a lot of stuff making its way this direction for Wizard. Wants to clear this out, and yeah, this should be it for everything that's sitting here. The shuttle getting focus fired. Now trying to draw off. Do we have more? It looks like some reinforcements we're just seeing from the high ground. They want to eliminate that Reaver from the field. Is that shuttle still? I think that shuttle's still nearby and might have an opportunity to save. Reaver's still getting value. As a side note, Lurker's taking some shots. Oh, and the shuttle able to scooping it up. 5 Corsair live. But critically, that 3rd base is not going up, and while these units are getting exchanged, things are moving more in Wizard's favor. He still hasn't saturated top left. Doesn't really need to, though, is making his way towards Hive Tech. Only single evolution chamber, but I think this is still against a single forge in the background, so that should be okay. +1 weapons. He'll be a little bit behind that upgrade curve, because he does have +1 here, so we're equalized right this second. An observer moving up, a lot of these lurkers going to end up losing their lives. This is an absolute skeleton crew as well, and this is a death bridge march too if Wizard tries to cross it. He needs to scoop all the way around. Yeah, he's recognizing, oh, never mind, he's going to close in the near side position. This is, and the lurker's going to try to sneak in from the opposite side. The short life of those overlords was well spent, because it looks like that observer was in fact picked off, which is allowing those lurkers to continue to scoot forward. So Wizard's is making pretty good use of the unit. He's keeping it out of grasp. He's making sure that 3rd base still isn't down. But now we got Corsair Reaver and an exposed natural expansion. No Scourge up on the front. Okay, the Scourge are making their way to the south. Corsair, they made their way up, but the shuttle was too far behind. Now the shuttle's scooping without the Corsair support. Dentarg having a little bit of trouble controlling potentially. Scooping up, only one of the Reavers dropped. That gets wiped out, and the Corsair's now moving up and eating a lot of damage from the Corsairs. Didn't get an overlord. More lurkers piling in towards the 3rd. Dentarg's actually been able to field a decently sized army. He has that +1 carapace to work with. Hive Tech is finished, so look for adrenal upgraded Zerglings. Wizard donating some troops to the low ground right this second. Gets 2 Dragoons, and again, the Hydros, whenever you're piling in troops like this, it's hard to get through. Does pick up the Reaver, but not the best exchange. Now, to be fair overall, Wizard he can throw away troops. He's economically ahead. He can just go for bad trades. There, Dentarg gonna GG. Recognizing he's not gonna get that 3rd, and Wizard's on 4 bases. Whew! For a second there, I was a little concerned, I'm gonna have to admit. Alright, Wizard advances at I think these are the 1-0 bracket, so he's gonna advance at 2-0. Dentarg will move forward at 1-1. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for listening.